Hello, this is PunkyCode and welcome to the first part of developing a game in browser using JavaScript. Quick disclaimer, this is not a tutorial nor step-by-step guide, just a simple pseudo-development log, but I'm really open to your suggestions. During this video we will decide our stack. When creating a game on JavaScript we must choose four main parts: working environment, development tools, visualization library and physics engine. For some development tools and working environment I've decided to choose TypeScript because Vanilla.js is for pussies.
Actually, I chose TypeScript because of an error-proof environment, but vanilla JavaScript is pretty good as well.
Let's find a way to create the TypeScript infrastructure, which we will do from zero. Just quick initialization of our fresh from zero project, as we need to create Webpack configuration, TypeScript configurations and our plugins initialization. And the main part, the index.html file. Okay, now we have a project that can run on top of TypeScript. First step is done. Next step, we will look for some cool libraries for visualization. Now, there is a ton of them. First thing first, we will need to create some criteria upon which we will select the winner. Disclaimer, I've already decided which one to use. But I'll tell you how I initially selected it. The main criteria are repository stars, repository issues, and npm weekly downloads. Why this three? Because repository stars show us how many actual developers are interested in the codebase itself, which leads to potential bug reports and pull requests. Repository issues criteria speaks for itself. More issues a library or framework has, the lower the chance someone will choose it. And finally, npm weekly download shows more or less how many developers use the package. There are some worthy criteria like how good the documentation is written or how fast the issue are patched and deployed, for example. But we'll stop on those three, as good score for those three usually implies that there is a good documentation, or it's easy to find places where there is a required explanation. Yes, I will ignore that part, as there are a lot of libraries and to look for each one will take a lot of time. Sorry, unpopular libraries. Here is the top I've built based on libraries I found. Most of these libraries are built on top of other ones with their personal cherry on top. So, as you see, I've ordered them based on my personal opinion and experience. I'll be using Free.js as I have some experience with it. There is a lot of people using it, so when I'll have some problems, questions or blockers, there is a big chance to find a response on Stack Overflow or related platforms. I've read a lot of good stuff about Babylon.js, like very quick fixes, patches and deploys to npm, as well as a very active community which will help you. Let's build, install and try to run a test to check if it will run without any issue in our newly created project. Cool, seems to work. Remember to clear everything you don't need, so you won't have unexpected behaviors. Never forget to clean your code and refactor it as much as you need until you are satisfied about it, because no one will care about your code more than you. And if you'll work for someone someday, there is a big chance that you won't have a privilege of refactoring. I have some experience with Canon.js, and to find a well-documented physics library on JS is pretty hard. Besides, Canon has mostly everything you need. Okay, we have our main part initialized, so we can start the development of our cool game, which right now, it's a super secret. So let's start on creating the scene, connect the physics engine and make the basic infrastructure. When writing on TypeScript, never forget to install types for libraries that don't have that included by default, so you would have more pleasant auto-suggestions in your development environment. Or you just go on vanilla and ignore everything. This is JavaScript. Here are no rules and no rulers, destroy the projects, who cares. As a starting point, initializing an empty scene, setting a background, adding a platform, and the player itself will do it. Now, refactoring time. Here I decided to move a player to its own class so it would be cleaner and easier to add new functionality to him, like controls of the player itself. We'll do the same for the scene.
6 months later.
Now that everything is ready, let's create the basic gameplay mechanic and physics now. It's gonna be so much fun. The biggest issue was creating two different materials which will be player and ground, the friction between them and the bounciness.
1 hour later. 5 hours later. 1 eternity later.
Nice. After blocking the rotation and fixing the friction, which was very easy, we shall do the jump functionality. It's good when you can jump, but it's better when you can jump only when you're grounded. So I started detecting the connection with the ground with Raycasting, so in future to be able to have different jump heights based on how much you hold the jump button. It took a lot of time because the Raycasting functionality in CanonJS is too buggy, or my hands grow from the wrong spot. But I decided to move on with the collision functionality only. Now we have a lot of trouble. Again. I've tried to implement a simple jump functionality that will add jump force for a maximum amount of time to get the cool smooth jump, like in old platformer game style, but failed, as each frame is being called a different amount of time between them, and in set period of time there could be dynamic count of frames which made the jump sometimes higher and other times lower. To fix this, I decided to move the physics calculation intervals as another functionality that will run constantly and not dependent on the animation frame. I'm a genius, this is the first thing I thought. After some testing, I got to a point where I was very stunned. I've been working with JavaScript for more than 5 years, and it was the first time I found out that set interval is not consistent at all. I didn't use it almost at all, as I don't like its idea, but this was a case where it could be relevant. I know about event loop and how it works, but still, I was not expecting this. I might have expected it to run slower than once in 16 milliseconds, but to run faster than the selected period was very unexpected. With a little bit of magic, I was able to make something that will work mostly consistently. So in the end, some skidoodle, your world is now 2D and look like a good 2D platformer is supposed to. I think. I've added some more platform just to fill the jump element. So that's it for this video, thank you for sitting here till the end. Please, if you liked it, leave a comment of what you'd like to see in the next video. Or if you want to see or hear more explanation on this part for some specific functionality, and maybe I'll do another video explaining everything. Thank you and have a nice day.